It was a big night for Matias Maccelli, a revenge game as the Maple Leafs stay unbeaten in November. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Did you have Tavares scoring goal number 501 today on your bet card, Dave?
I did not. Did you?
No. I did actually. I had him scoring and Matthews. I put a little double SGP on the two of them scoring a goal, and it did come through for me. So I was very happy with that. Most of the big boys, actually all the big boys, quote, scored tonight. Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, Nyes got the empty netter, and then Matias Maccelli kind of was the man of the hour. Got the game belt after he was a 2-point night in his return to the lineup against his former squad, the Utah Mammoth, and a pretty solid win from the Maple Leafs tonight. 5-3 was the final. What did you make of the efforts here?
I mean, yeah, there was good, and then there was some not so good in this game. But I mean, it's once again just reaffirming when the core is on their game, this team is still still a capable squad, still a decent team when everything is kind of working the way it should be. I think that's what we've seen the last 3 games. That when guys are putting in the work and are playing to their capabilities, this is still a good hockey team, a team that can win on a majority consistent basis, I'll say.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like you're not sitting here saying that they should be the favorites each and every night, but they should definitely be competitive. And they were the favorites going into this game on FanDuel, and they did win 5-3, and I felt they were the better team. The underlying numbers would also support that. The Maple Leafs, specifically at 5-on-5, they controlled 61% of the play, according to the expected goal margin there. So the Leafs, I think, were the better team, but ultimately, you said it, man. When their offense is clicking and they're scoring, they're finishing on their chances, that's when this team is able to win games. And not only that, they play with structure again tonight, except the third goal. That last goal, we could almost erase that from our memories. That was a massive lapse there, letting Gunther sneak in by himself. But outside of that, the Leafs really did not allow a whole lot from the Mammoth tonight. I mean, you look, they gave up just 13 scoring chances in total, just 4 of them being high danger chances. So you limit the scoring chances. The expected goals against was 1.18. So pretty solid night for the Maple Leafs, and the way that they're able to defend tonight, the way that they're able to generate some offense. They didn't necessarily finish and get everything on net. I think they only finished with like 19 shots, but I think that they ended up with some pretty quality chances, although it doesn't reflect that in like the actual shot attempts or shots on goal. The chances were there, and they did convert on a fair amount to score 4 past the goalie, and then they got an extra little empty net goal. But that's the formula, man. If they can play with structure, they can stay locked in defensively, limit their opponents to 2, 3 or less goals. They should be able to win games, because this is a team that is averaging over 3.5 goals a game. And when those guys are scoring and your big boys are getting it done offensively, they should win a lot more games. So I think it was just more of the same. This is pretty much what to expect from a team. Still want that 60-minute effort from the Maple Leafs. There's still lapses within the game, but a 5-3 win over a pretty good Utah team is I won't say it's impressive, but it's another encouraging thing to see here as we exit October, and now we're almost a week into November. That's 3 straight wins here and a perfect 3-0 record this month.
Well, that's it, right? You're looking at, we've said it how many times that this is a team that usually gets off to slower starts to the season, right? And guys are still trying to figure out like there's player like it's funny because we talk about slow starts in terms of the team record, but then tonight you see the offense once again, especially at 5-on-5 even strength, continue to produce. It's like the production's been there. It's just it hasn't all come together in terms of the full team game because they're trying to score, they're cheating for offense, the defense is not able to withstand the turnovers, the giveaways, and rushes and stuff like that. So that becomes a problem, right? And so, like the way they're playing, they're starting to look a little bit more like what we saw last year. It's taking time, and look, they're also with a few defensemen like going into this game. Simon Benoit, he's not playing, so you're down Tanev, you're down Benoit, so that changes things a bit. And so
I didn't think Mermies and Myers, looked out of place tonight. I thought that they did well. Like they're protected a little bit, I think, which is what any good coach, what any good coach would do at home. Shelter your guys with some, third, fourth line minutes. But up until again that final goal late in the game when no one was paying attention, they were hanging in there and they didn't really give up a whole lot. So kudos to them. Bit of a gutsy, I guess, effort from the blue line to not allow a whole lot. So up and down, I think that blue line deserves a lot of credit for how structured they played. And also the forwards, we talked about this, a couple of weeks ago. It's so much easier for defensemen when you're playing connected as a group. And what that essentially means is you're connected all throughout the ice. So instead of having to make that 50-foot stretch pass, you've got that forward support. So you can, instead of getting pressured by the opposition and then thinking, oh no, I got to get rid of this puck, but there's no one around you. So you fire it 30 feet down the ice and it's picked off and goes the other way. We saw that happen a month ago. Now you've got that support. You've got guys like Tavares, like McMahon, like Nylander, like, Nyes and Matthews. They're coming back. They're helping. Scott Lawton, who came back into the lineup tonight, they're coming back and they're helping support. And they're looking a little more connected. So there's still some things that this team needs to clean up for sure. But I think you look at the last couple of games here, that third period in Pittsburgh, the game before, and then obviously most of tonight, I think you're seeing some positive signs of what this team is supposed to look like. And, some more things to build on moving forward. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll continue to dig into tonight's 5-3 win for the Maple Leafs. We'll get a look at our 3 stars of the game. And it was milestone night around the NHL. Lots to celebrate in Toronto, in Washington, and out in Calgary as well. We'll get to all that and more next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. The NHL is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Network. Even if you miss the start of a game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score the next goal to third-period comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Network. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you, as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, with brand new episodes of the Locked On Leafs podcast, free and available wherever you get a podcast. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever, Google Podcasts. You can find it also on YouTube as well. Maple Leafs with a 5-3 win over the Utah Mammoth. They're now 3-0 over the Mammoth, the new Mammoth regime. But remember before when it was impossible for the Maple Leafs to win against the Coyotes on home ice? Like there was a stat. I think it was up until Like literally up until the very last time the Coyotes, I think, were in town, the Maple Leafs hadn't had a regulation win since like 2002. There was like at least like 15 or 16 games there where the Maple Leafs had continued to lose in regulation to the Arizona Coyotes. But now the Maple Leafs seem to be winning those games now that they've gone to Utah. And now they got Utah's number, apparently 3-0 now after tonight's 5-3 victory. Anything else that stuck out to you about tonight's win, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, you brought up the fact that they beat a team that they've, haven't really had a lot of success with at home. No, I mean, like there was just a lot of. It was an interesting game because a lot of people in the Discord is like, "What a thrilling game this is!" Like, this is Craig Berube hockey. It's supposed to not be high risk style hockey. It's supposed to be, play within the structure and you capitalize on your opportunities.
100%.
That is what this type of, if you do not like, if you're finding this style to be a bit, let's call it maybe not as thrilling or a snoozer to watch.
Boring. You use the word boring.
Okay. I'll use the word boring. Ask to get Sheldon Keefe back. Like that's like, if that's clearly what you're struggling with.
They're winning in New Jersey too, though. I might add, they're winning a lot of games.
I'm kind of saying, like, New Jersey's playing that style that the Leafs used to play, high octane, fast. Like that's the style that the Leafs used to play. That's not the style they play anymore because they deemed that style wasn't going to work against the teams that they were going up against in the playoffs. That tough, physical style. And that's what the Leafs decided they want down this road. So,
right, which makes sense. Instead of having to flip a switch in the playoffs, you just make that your bread and butter, right? Yeah. You make that the way you're going to play, and
that's the identity you're going to forge. From start to it hasn't really been start to finish this year, but this is the identity you're trying to forge.
Right, but not that I want to make excuses, but there's been a lot of injuries. There's been a lot of inconsistencies. You've had guys going up and down the lineup, coming in and out of the lineup. Like they haven't had, a lot of opportunity, a lot of a run, like with the specific group here. But there were some moves that have been made that suggest if things are healthy, this might be your group moving forward. Like that's kind of what I'm gathering here is this is the preferred group of 12 forwards. Obviously, Tanev and Benoit get back in on the blue line. But think about the move that was made in order to get Scott Laughton activated on IR, right? They sent down Easton Cowan. He's now with the American Hockey League. He's going to be a Marley, and I expect him to be there probably for a little bit. I think he'll get a little bit of a run down in the AHL. We've been talking about that.
It's not an easy path for him to come back either. You just talked about it. Like they needed to send him down because he was the only forward they could send down that didn't require waivers.
Exactly. So it would require another guy having a stint on the IR, right? Another guy on the IR, and you don't want that to happen. But even if it does, we've got Sammy Blais, you've got Callie Arncroft sitting, up in the press box that they could just chuck in there for a game or two if they need be, right? And let Cowan kind of cook and sizzle and season a bit down in the minors and get more than the 12 minutes that he was averaging here in the NHL. But yeah, this is what we're going to see. I think that's what we're going to see, and it was a pretty good win. I think it just goes to show, hey, this is what we're all about. This is what we're going to be. Are we going to be all that flashy? No. But like you said, we're going to capitalize when you make mistakes, and we're not going to give you a whole lot, right? They gave up 24 shots. Only 4 of them were high danger chances at 5-on-5. They didn't give a whole lot to the Mammoth tonight, and it's a good team over there. So I think kudos to them. I think it was a pretty good team win, I would say. Again, not flashy, not one that you're going to remember and be like, oh, remember that Mammoth game a couple of years ago? No, it's not. This is one you'll forget about by tomorrow. But I think it's, again, one of those games where it's like, hey, that's probably a good kind of barometer for how the Leafs want to play, more so than what we've seen over the course of the last few weeks at the very least. All right, Dave, let's get to our 3 stars of the game as we do after each and every win. Who's your first star, Dave?
First star of the game, I'm going to go with the man who got the belt. Matthias
Yeah.
Maccelli.
Yeah.
Responding to a healthy scratch in the right way.
The scratch and score also works with Maccelli, not just Nicky Bobby. Works with Maccelli too, apparently.
Yeah, and like shouldn't be surprised because I'm sure this is a player that understands that there's a lot on the line for him this season. He needs a new contract, right? Last thing you want is a healthy scratch to be something that kind of goes against you when you're trying to, ask for more money from the team. And he's had flashes of good things happening, but it just hasn't been there for Maccelli. So, but this is the Matthias Maccelli. This is the player we're expecting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Creativity with the puck. Like we're talking about things that you need a bit more of. They need somebody to show a little more creativity with plays, right? They lacked a little bit of that at times, and that's what he is. That's what they brought him in to be, right? I don't like using the comparison, but the Marner Light. We hear that all the time, but that's essentially what they're expecting him to be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, essentially is, at least from an offensive perspective. Defensively, no, you're not asking him to do a whole lot of that, but offensively as a facilitator, yeah. And you saw again, a couple plays tonight he was able to make and, was able to find a way to score a goal tonight. Kind of, there's a screened goal. He just thought, hey, let's just throw it on net and see what happens. Good things usually happen when you do that. So you can't be afraid to shoot it either. I know you're known as a facilitator, but you could shoot it too. I think Maccelli had 18 goals a couple years ago when he was with the Coyotes. So I'm sure he had a little bit of extra juice and effort tonight, not only because he was scratched the night before, so want to get back on into the good gracious of Coach Berube, but it's a revenge game. You're playing your former team. It just makes sense for Mason Maccelli, Matthias Maccelli to come out and have the game that he did. He was my first star as well. Who'd you have as your second star?
I went with John Tavares.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of that line, right?
Yes.
Like that second line continues to be fair to call them kind of the driver line right now.
Yeah, you want me to hit you with some stats here at 5-on-5?
Do it.
All right. Get some stats. So we got John Tavares and Nick Robertson and Bobby McMahon, right? So those guys played 8 minutes and 43 seconds together. Their shot share was 9-1. They outshot the opponent 5-0. They obviously scored a goal and had a 90% expected goals. Scoring chances were 5-1, and they didn't allow a single high danger shot against either. So getting it done on both sides of the ice. Now we'll note that they only had one defensive zone faceoff draw. And we noted that pregame that we had a feeling that line would not see a whole lot of defensive zone starts, right? That's why they put together the third and fourth line the way they did. So that a line like that doesn't have to be necessarily offensively responsible or defensively responsible. You let them go on the offensive end, let them cook. And they cooked pretty good tonight, Dave. They cooked pretty good.
They did, and that's what that's what they're expected to be. They're expected to be the catalyst offensively, and they did that. Tavares. I don't know if you saw the shirts.
Oh yeah,
made out. I wish I didn't even pull up the photo.
Did you see Matthews 501 after the game? He put a little 1 over the 500 for the Tavares.
You gotta love what like those sort of things. They might seem to some people a bit. How do I put not gimmicky, but like I just think it just kind of it's a team bonding thing. So I got the Tavares 501.
501 scored number 501 tonight.
Little nothing. A little hockey tape can't.
Hockey tape is everything, man.
Again,
I had like a what do they call it? Like a muscle shirt back in college, and the straps ripped. I was playing touch football, and someone grabbed my shirt, and the strap ripped off, basically right at the seam. Put a hockey tape on there. Boom, they were good. for literally like 5 years. That hockey tape held and went through multiple loads of laundry, man. Hockey tape's the best. And it can turn a 0 into a 1. It can turn, I think we saw even, was it Mitch Marner? Someone turned a Marner jersey into something the other day by doing that. I think maybe they turned the 6 into a 1 and put Domi on the back. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, random tangent.
But I mean, it's a cool little thing that, in my opinion, goes a long way, right?
Yeah.
But like Tavares continues to have a great season. That deal is looking better and better each and every game.
Totally.
What's
he up to now? Is that a 2-point night for Tavares tonight?
It was just
2-point night. So now up to 16 points or 18 points on the season.
14 games.
Yeah.
And how many times have we talked about this? We talked about this in the past. The biggest knock on Tavares at one point was not scoring a lot at 5-on-5, not scoring as much, even strength.
Yeah. They relied on a lot of the top,
and it's like you saw the graphic. Him, Nyes, and
Nylander. Nylander number 1. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday.
Top 3, right?
Yeah.
And but they continue to do it. And we, I understand the power play that hasn't really been good enough. They need to be better on the power play, all that. But when you're scoring so well at 5-on-5, you can give time for the power play to get its gear going.
It doesn't hurt as much. It's not detrimental,
exactly.
Right? It'd be one thing if you're on the other side of this 5-3 loss with an empty netter and you're thinking to yourself, if you scored on that power play, now all of a sudden you tied the game, you're going to overtime, like one goal can change the game. When you win, it doesn't necessarily get brought up as much, but they got to keep winning. That's one thing, but I still believe, there's too much talent for that power play not to get going, but to be sub 12% now is kind of crazy. To be honest with you, it's hard to fathom with the amount of skill that is on that on that group. And they swapped out, the defenseman. They brought in OEL, and I didn't think that there was, much going on with that power play again tonight, but it'll pick up at some point.
Like to me, it's still I still remain that it's not going to be the guy on the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's the guys who are expected to score the goals to have to start scoring the goals, right? People can continue to complain.
They didn't register a single shot on their power play tonight.
Like, is that
yeah? No shots on the power.
Having OEL isn't going to change the fact that your top guys, although William Nylander, Tavares, Nylander, Matthews, Nyes, guys who should be shooting the puck. It should be on their stick and getting it done. My
best bet tonight was Nylander over 2.5 shots. He had 1 shot tonight. 1 shot on goal. That needs to change.
We hate that.
He shot a couple wide, but yeah, that's anyways, besides the
wide that didn't go in the net. We don't like that.
No, again, I prefer when they hit twine, realistically.
Again, it's just one of those things where it has to start coming. Yeah. It has to start coming. You got to get the opportunities because they're not producing enough on the power play, and that's because they're not generating enough chances. It's to me, maybe I'm simplifying it too much, but to me, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I think is happening.
No, I agree with you, man. I totally agree with you. Who's your first star of the game?
I mean, third star. You mean
third star? Sorry, third star.
Auston Matthews. 3 goals in the last 3 games, and they've won. And there's a quote from Craig Berube that I found quite interesting. I had it and I just closed it. I'm gonna grab it 1 second here, but it speaks to why this team I think is doing a lot better now, especially in November. More energy and life to him. Feels like he's got a lot more jump in his game. So when you're scoring and you're feeling much better about yourself, you start to look like the player that you're supposed to be. sounds quite right for Auston Matthews.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, he's playing a lot better, right? And it goes back to was it physical or is it mental? And I think right now you can see it's mental. It's an effort. I don't know. Effort's maybe not the right word, but like compete level. I don't know if they're
just think
interchangeable for you, but
I think it's I mean, it's just confidence, right? When you're confident, you have a bit of an extra pep to your step.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's just making more plays out there and shooting the puck more confidently. And I mean that one timer, like that was like that's just a deceptive Matthews shot. You know, like the way that he was able to maneuver his stick to get under it the right way to get the certain lift he wanted. Like that's Auston Matthews at his best, man. So yeah, really good to see that for sure. I want to give some love to Stolars too. I thought Stolars, you know, he didn't have to save a whole lot, but he was there for when he had to stop the pucks he needed to. I didn't love the third goal, but I didn't love it from anyone's perspective.
I didn't like the second goal. I thought that went like that. That was not a hard shot.
Sergachev, was that the Sergachev goal there?
One.
Yeah.
Kind of just went through. But like again, he's been rock solid in the third. Saw. I don't know if you saw the stat. Rock solid in the third period. Second period, not the best.
But that's the team. The whole tonight they actually won the second period, and I should go back and find this stat, but I bet they have not won a lot of second periods to this point in the season because that seems to be where it always unravels. That long change seems to unravel this team for whatever reason. But tonight they won it, right? 2-1. They won that period, and you know that was kind of the difference. Technically, the difference in the hockey game for them. Though in the third period as well, which is nice, obviously. But yeah, there's some more encouraging things. Right now, they're winning second periods. Soon they'll start winning some first periods. Although I saw a stat earlier today too that they're like 4-3-1 this year when they allowed the first goal. So they've been getting off to slow starts all season long, but they do seem to be, you know, winning some games despite that. They had the first goal again tonight. They were down 1-0 after the first, but they ended up outscoring Utah 5-2 the rest of the way. Anything else you want to mention about tonight before we put a bow on this game?
No, I think they're again. I think they're starting again. I don't think they're starting. I think they're starting to rediscover what they've needed to do. And Craig Berube is pushing the right buttons right now. It seems like we were.
Well, I know we gave love to the second line, like Tavares in the second line, but I just wanted to. Nick Robertson deserves another kind of, you know, good job. You know, earned another chance to stick in the top six. Top six, Nick, as we're now calling him, man. I don't know if you heard the pregame, but they were talking a lot about Robertson getting his opportunity, and Berube came out and said he's earned this opportunity, and I have to agree. And based on what we saw from that second line tonight, I think he earned a chance to play this weekend. What do you got? Boston and Carolina this weekend, back to back. I believe that's next up on the schedule. So I'd expect Robertson to be in the mix for those games as well.
I don't see a reason right now to take him off.
Nope. And that might have been part of the reason why they moved Easton Cowan, because they're like, look, I think Robertson would feel very comfortable with in the lineup right now. Obviously, they like what Lorentz gives them from a fourth line perspective, and defensively they like what he can do, so they want to keep him in the lineup. So it's like, okay, now what? You know, it's like Michelli, we like that he can give you a little offense, and all of a sudden it's like, I guess Cowan might not be ready, might not be one of your top 12 forwards just yet. So makes sense that they moved on. Doesn't mean he can't come back. You know, he's in the American League, not in the CHL. He could come back at any point if they need him, or if he proves that he deserves to be there because he's tearing it up in the with the Marlies. Just so that we are all clear on that, he can return to the team and they can call him up at any point. All right, it was milestone night around the NHL, so it wasn't just John Tavares celebrating a milestone. Nazem Kadri, a big milestone, and the great eight, Alex Ovechkin, made history tonight as well. We'll get into those next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by Rugiet. Let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rugiet makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private. And it's all handled by real doctors. It's all about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rugiet.com/LockedOnNHL to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNHL so they know that we sent you. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano and Dave Morassutti with you as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. All things Maple Leafs all the time. And sometimes a veer away from the Leafs, right? Sometimes a veer away when big news around the NHL is occurring. And there's a massive milestone that was hit tonight. Two big milestones, actually. One does have a little Leaf lore to it. But I want to start with, obviously, the massive achievement done by Alex Ovechkin tonight. He scored his 900th goal of his NHL career. No man on planet Earth has ever scored 900 goals in the National Hockey League. He's the first to do it. Obviously, he surpassed Wayne Gretzky's record late last year and then scored his 900th goal last night, and a massive blowout victory at that. Just incredible. Just still to sit here and talk about Alex Ovechkin being at 900. Like, that number is just so big, Dave. It's like we're celebrating Tavares at 500. And we're like, man, that's awesome. Like, only 49 guys in the world have ever scored 49 goals or 500 goals in the NHL. This guy just had 900 goals.
It's crazy for a couple reasons. Well, one, as a Jordan Binnington fantasy owner, did not like that. But
did you also see that Binnington tried to keep the puck?
I was about to bring that up. That, like, we know Jordan Binnington. He's got a few loose screws when he's playing.
Okay.
He's walking with, so literally takes the blocker off, has the puck in his hand,
puts it in his
pants. So tell me that one of the comments, Logan Thompson said, I don't know, maybe he was trying to grab it to give it to him. You're not putting it in your pants if you're going to give it to the guy right after. Like, we know that Jordan Binnington has, it's not all there sometimes with him. Let's put it at that. But man, like, Alex Ovechkin scoring 900, like, I had a feeling this was going to come when he was getting to the Gretzky record, because I was trying to think, how much more can he do on top of that?
Yeah.
It all depends. For me, it was always about how long would he be playing for?
Yeah.
Right?
I think we all knew he was going to play one more year. He said he was going to, at least. So we knew 900 was in reach, because he only did, 5 goals this season? 4 goals.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a slow start to the year compared to what he did last year. Like, last year, he was like out of a cannon. I mean, he also went on a torrid stretch after I can't remember if he's the torrid stretch after he got the knee injury.
Was before and after. Like, it was there was a couple of stretches.
Like, he had 44 and 65 last year. Like, unbelievable.
Stupid.
And the real question I wonder here, like, he's 40.
There's no shot you're going to say that. Is he going to go for 1,000? Is that what you're about to say to me?
Like, is that, like, you're trying to figure out, at what point does Ovi say, I'm good?
I think
this is it 950? Like, is 950 the number?
I think he hit his number. I think you want to be the first player to ever hit 900. And he's obviously not going to retire tonight. He'll play out the rest of the season, but I don't think he's going to return for another season at the NHL anymore. Like, I don't think there's nothing else for him to chase, right? Like, Gretzky's record was like the chase for the last couple of years to get there.
It
We
is
surpassed that.
Okay.
What's that?
I couldn't remember if this was the last year, but if he had one more year left. So
it's the last.
I think this makes a lot of sense.
So I think 900 maybe was the last like kind of big milestone that you have targeted. 1,000 just seems so far away. Like especially at that age. I mean, look at
if he was a couple years younger, I could see that. Maybe.
Yeah, you could, because they would only take him 3 years probably to score another 100 goals if he was younger. But if he's going to score at this pace that he's at right now, it'd take him like 4 or 5 years to do it. I just don't see him sticking around that. Like it's been known that he wants to maybe finish off his pro hockey career and play another season in Russia.
And he could play as long as he wants in Russia.
Yeah, he could. Realistically, he could. But it's likely, because I think also they sent out like the real hard ticket stubs this year to all the Washington Capitals season ticket holders. I think that had something to do with it, because it's Ovi's last ride, right? So that stub is going to be a collectible for people to have.
Is it just a regular, or is it signed? I'm curious.
No, like the stubs?
Yeah.
No, there's regular stubs. Yeah, no. Well, you can get that signed, though. That would be very, very nice. But no, just regular stubs. Because nowadays it's all electronic. Like everyone has their tickets on their phone.
I was going to say, like, I can't remember the last time I've seen. I know. Okay, I don't have it.
I mean, you go to a couple games a year. When's the last time you've actually used a physical stub to get into a game?
Actually, here, because I was like, literally, I was thinking about this. Guys know I'm a big wrestling fan. Like, you can get. I had to do the electronic to get in, but now they do stuff like this, right?
So they'll give you a cool little
commemorative ticket.
Yeah, right.
They call it like a souvenir ticket, and it's And the good thing about this is you can't fake it, you can't replicate it. It's a hollow. It's like one of those hollow, like,
right?
So, like, I'm assuming that's what they did. If that's what they did for the Washington Capitals season ticket holders, like, that's pretty cool.
I don't know if they did that where they like made it special, like a special
but
ticket.
Even if it's like a ticket, like I have, I don't know if you have any
like old school stubs from when
I was gonna say,
like
the Leafs had pretty
years
nice
ago
ones too. Like a friend of mine has season tickets and he used to give me some of his stubs.
Yeah, they're like this big honking looking thing.
Yeah,
and then
they're nice. I can understand why
teams
don't necessarily want to be having them that much anymore.
It's just a lot easier for people that have misplaced them, or I don't know. I couldn't tell you why they do it that way. Well, it's just because people want to sell them, so they just sell it all online now. People sell their tickets, so that's kind of the way that's done. But congrats, that's a big, massive milestone, man. 900 goals, first and only player in NHL history to do it. I'm not sure there's another guy who's going to touch 900 who's in the NHL right now. For a little bit there, it seemed like maybe it'd be Auston Matthews, but I think what we've seen over the last year and a half, the injuries, the inconsistencies, I think that's going to.
He'd have to redefine his. He had to refine his form from a few years ago to even threaten that idea for sure.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I don't know if I see Auston Matthews going as long as.
Well, to be fair, how many years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, he was a little older, but 12 years into Ovi's career, looked like he was slowing down. He had that one season, 82 games, just 33 goals. And it's like, oh, is he slowing down? I think he was like 30 or so at that point. It's like, oh, is he slowing down? No. No, he did not. He then rattled off 49, 51, 48, 24 and 45 games, 50, 42, 31. Looked like he was slowing down a couple of years ago in 23, 24, and then 44 and 65 last year in what was a remarkable season. So I don't think anyone's going to come. No one's going to come close. I don't think anyone currently in the NHL right now is going to hit that 900 mark. That one seems like it's going to be around for quite some time.
Yeah, I think so. I think for a bit.
Yeah. And another shout out to former Maple Leaf Nazem Kadri, who played in his 1,000th NHL game tonight for the Calgary Flames.
Scored too. Nice goal.
Yeah, scored a goal. So like what more can you ask for, right? You score a goal, you get everyone to celebrate you. Pre-game, you go out, you score. I think they're up pretty big. Is the game over? We're recording right now. I don't know if the game's ending, but I think they're up like 4-1 at one point. Last I saw.
They are. It's
Mistaken.
6 minutes left in the third, and they're up 4-1.
Yeah, there you go. So it looks like they're going to get the win too. So you get to celebrate 1,000 games. You score a goal in that game, and it looks like you're going to get the win as well. And those have been few and far between in Calgary this year. But congrats, man. Obviously spent the first bunch of seasons of his career in Toronto. Then the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years have been elsewhere, 3 in Colorado. This is his 4th year in Calgary. But I feel like, if this guy ends up, looking back on his career and they say, hey, what team, would you consider yourself most a part of, right? Like which team do you consider yourself a part of most? I think he would say the Maple Leafs, right? They drafted, developed him, gave him the opportunity in the NHL. And although he didn't win here, he spent the most time here. And really grew up, I guess, into his formative years. But hell of a career, man. He's not done either. Like, he had a big year last year. Career high 35 goals last season, 67 points. He's got 11 points now in 15 games for Calgary this year. So he's not done. He ain't finished. He's got at least a few more years to go, I would imagine. Now, whether it's going to be in Calgary remains to be seen. There was that report that he didn't want to get traded until after 1,000 games were played. Well, now it's at that point. So I'd imagine if Calgary continues to lose, I would think that things are going to start to get a little louder around the Nazem Kadri trade market, don't you think?
He's going to he wants another chance to win a cup.
Mm-hmm.
As much as Calgary is not in a position now to be holding veterans. Like like last year, they thought they were, pushing in the right direction. I think this year it's like maybe
they got a way too good rookie season at Dustin Wolf. I think fooled them. They're last place right now in the league. They last place in the league. Yeah, last place in the league with 8 points. I guess tonight they're about to pick up another 2 points. I think there'll be 10 points by the time this podcast gets out there, tied with the St. Louis Blues, mind you. But yeah, not a fun time to be a Calgary Flame right now. So if you are a veteran like Nazem Kadri, wouldn't surprise me if he tries to angle himself out of there, or if teams start calling at some point to pry him out, because he's still got some good hockey to go. And he's got 3 years left on that deal. Has a 7-year contract when he signed it. So 3 years left on that contract. I think you could still get something out of him. I think there's
still quite a bit of value for a center like Nazem Kadri. Like, we know the trade market isn't.
Does that interest you for Toronto at all? I know there's like some bad blood with Calgary and Toronto, so maybe
part of it. We know right now the issue with the Leafs isn't offense; it's obviously defense, but also foot speed. Right? He's 35. I think if you're the Leafs, as much as you want to go and grab veterans, you also have to start, I think, looking for some guys with a little more mobility.
Yeah, that's true. He just plays the right way,
Oh yeah, he's nails, absolute nails. Like, I like everything he's done, but he's also, on this Leafs team, he would do well. I do think that. I think he's a Craig Berube guy, but I also just think that the Leafs have also prioritized too many guys who play the physical style but lack the foot speed, and we've seen it this year too much.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. All right, that'll do it for us here today on the podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti, and follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. We'll be back with another episode for you guys tomorrow. We got a back-to-back to tee up ahead of the weekend, so we'll get into that on tomorrow's show. Until then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.